We also, what separates us from other voter registration organizations is, you know, uh, every other voter reg org that I know is a 501c3, which means they're legally bound to be nonpartisan. We're a 527, so we are not. We do voter registration unshackled, you know? So while, we go out of our way to be super respectful to everyone we speak to, no matter how Republican they are, we also are proud of our values and we wear our colors. We might wear a resist hat, you know, might wear a liberal looking t-shirt. I got the wrong state. I'm sorry for today. I need my Michigan shirt, but love my new Stacey Abrams shirt. Might wear a Trump with a line through it pin, and that does an amazing thing. It really creates a progressive force field, and so most Republicans just won't walk up to you. In addition to that, what we say is liberal sounding too. So we use these kind of identifying elements to make sure that we really maximize the number of Democrats and, bless you, Lori, and progressive independents that we register. And we usually wind up registering 0 Republicans. Sometimes 1 or 2 sneak in, but usually 0. That's important. It's important that we have these metrics, that we have registered 15,000 voters in all these states where you do, record the person's party preference on the form, because we can extrapolate from that in Michigan, even though the party preference is not on the form, we will be. We know from this past experience that if we're wearing, liberal looking t-shirts and things like that, and if we're saying liberal sounding opening phrases, which I'll get into in a few minutes, we're going to be registering pretty much exclusively Democrats and progressive minded independents. So, yeah, so let's see. So in general, what one of our voter drives looks like is you will, show up at our base camp, probably say 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. Weekdays are the best days to do this. Mondays through Thursdays are really like the sweet spot from about 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. That said, if you want to do it on a weekend, you absolutely can. You target different, I can get into that later if people are interested. But yes, so normally you'll show up at our base camp, which is a dramatic word for coffee shop. And, we try to start all our events someplace where there's good parking, coffee, and bathrooms, the 3 necessities for human life. And, coffee is super helpful with extroversion. If I drink enough coffee, I can't help but talk to strangers, And every event starts with a training. So no prior experience is necessary. And if you want to bring along a friend at the last minute, you absolutely can. The training will consist of a shorter version of what I'm saying on this call, about 20 minutes, and we'll answer all your questions. We'll go through the Michigan form, and we will, also have all the supplies you need. So we would have clipboards and forms and stickers. Not a deal breaker if there are no stickers, but people do love stickers like crazy. And I can send you the link to these to get these stickers. They're pretty cheap, super worth it. And once we have your questions answered and you have all your supplies and your 2 pens, got to have a backup pen, we will deploy you, fancy word for send you to a hotspot nearby, which will most likely be a college, if any are available. Community colleges are our best hotspots by far in every state we're in. It's amazing the difference, even from a state college. When you go down to a community college, how many more kids are unregistered to vote? It's a messed up feature of our society, but it's also where we can help the most. So yeah, we'll go to community college, maybe, any other colleges if those are available, if we've exhausted the community colleges. After that, we might go to courthouses. Those can be great. After that, it's kind of six-way tie for third place between, transportation centers, libraries, maybe farmers markets, possibly parking lots of Costco or Walmart Supercenter. If there are any events going on, I might try those depending on the event. Some events are better than others. A gun show, not so good. Vegan festival, definitely. You'll be out there for about 2 hours, something like that. Talk to everyone you can, everyone you want to. You can go at your own pace. If you see someone you don't want to talk to, don't talk to them. That's one great thing about this. No one's going to complain that the person with the clipboard did not talk to them. So you can kind of choose your conversations. But eventually, I try to be like a pinball flipper and not let anybody get by. Just talk to everyone I possibly can. See who you can register, see who you can have some good conversations with, and connect with. And then come back to base camp, turn in any forms you have completed. Tell us how your hotspot was, if it was amazing or horrible, so we can hone our strategy game over time. And then go home with amazing self-esteem for a week, So any questions so far about anything? All right. And if you have any, at any points, you can unmute yourself and pipe up or put them in the chat, whatever you like. Yeah, drilling a little deeper, like getting into the nitty gritty, how we get people to talk to a human being holding a clipboard. That's the challenge of it. And you see I have a sweet sticker. Very, very straightforward. We registered Democrats. You can have something like that. I also have a printout, a graphic that I could put in the chat at some point if you'd like. In fact, I'll do that right now in case anyone wants it. And you can just print that out and tape it on the back of the clipboard. It's the perfect size. And yeah, so there's different, hang on one second. I'm trying to, here we go. There we go. Just pretending I didn't need to concentrate, but I did. All right. So yeah, there are different ways of making it easier to start a conversation with someone. If you're relaxed and having a good time, people can read your energy and they're more likely to talk to you instead of hiding behind your clipboard, If you can take off your sunglasses, great. You can make some eye contact. That's good, so that people kind of have to break your heart to just walk by and ignore you, Also, walking a couple steps alongside someone is good, or walking backwards a couple steps if they're walking towards you, just to lengthen the window of interaction. And, I try not to do anything creepy. I don't always succeed, but I try. I don't, for example, some old school trainers will say, stand in front of someone blocking their path. No, don't do that. That's creepy. Some old school trainers say, shove the clipboard in their hand. No, don't do that. I will not do that, never. When people see a clipboard, they think something salesy might happen. So I try to be the opposite of salesy. And sometimes I experiment with how quietly I can talk and still communicate, just to make it real, the only way, all activism is talking to strangers. That's all it is. Whether it's the voter registration, the way we do it, or canvassing, or, you get a little more abstract and get into phone banking and text banking and then even postcarding. It's all talking to strangers. It's ancient and powerful, and talking in person to someone will always be the most powerful thing we can do. So yeah, that's the whole goal, just to make a real connection. There are different ways of starting a conversation. Some are definitely better than others. Are you registered to vote? Is probably the worst. Don't beat yourself up if you say it. It's fine. I say it sometimes. It's the most passive, though. Easy to ignore. Maybe worse than that is, excuse me, sir, have you moved since the last time you registered to vote? That's so many syllables they're gone. That sounds so boring, Better than that is, excuse me, miss, can I register you to vote as a Democrat today? There we're like saying, can I? And it doesn't say party preference on the form, but you can still say that. You're also saying, can I register you, instead of are you registered? It's just a little more proactive. Mark Twain said the difference between the right and the wrong word is the difference between lightning and a lightning bug. Totally true. That guy is amazing. America's first stand-up, by the way. But so you'll see big differences in the outcome depending on little differences in what you say. Even better. Oh, so let me just say, what we're trying to do is two things. We're trying to start a conversation, and we're also trying to identify people as some version of our friend, whether they are an independent who hates Trump. Great, we absolutely need them. They were responsible for a lot of our 40 House seat victories in the midterms. So an independent who hates Trump, all the way to the far, far left, my mom, we want them all, Che Guevara, around there, we want them all. They're all our people. We want to register them. So you can say, can I register you as a Democrat? Very straightforward. You can I puzzled over this for about a year. I'm a writer, so I really was trying to figure out what could distill the essence of what we're trying to do and really cut to the chase faster, in fewer syllables. And excuse me, miss, can you help me save the world from Trump? Is what I came up with. And then I worked up the courage to actually say it. And it is super effective, it turns out. And that's not, if you hate that phrase, you absolutely don't have to say it ever. There's a million ways to start a conversation. But in these times, Trump is our greatest recruiting tool, it turns out. It makes sense. I mean, people are so rightfully outraged against President Garbage Nightmare. There's always something every day that he does that's horrendous. And so another variation of that that I use these days is, excuse me, miss, can I register you to vote? We're just trying to get rid of Trump, one voter at a time. Are you one of us Trump haters? That's funny. That's funny. It might work for you. Different things work for different people. That's very strong. If you say something, some variation of, excuse me, can you help me save the world from Trump? With a smile, in one short sentence, you're creating a high stakes narrative with them as the hero. And it's also no exaggeration. That really is what we're out there to do. So that helps a lot. If you hate that, you can also approach people on the issues and say, excuse me, miss, can you help me fight for civil rights today? Or can you help me save the environment, or fight for healthcare, or more affordable college, anything, it's part of the Democratic platform. Oh, great, I'm registering Democrats to vote. Are you a citizen? You just go right into that first question as seamlessly as possible. The more seamlessly you go into that first question, are you a citizen, the more you deny them that little pause where they think, oh, I'm gonna go get a bagel, or play a video game, Don't know how many bagels there are in Michigan. Video game line might be better. But so those are just some good ways to start conversations. You can definitely experiment, be creative, figure out what sounds best to you. The first time you're out there, the first 5 or 10 people, it's going to be a little nerve-wracking to talk to, and you'll be thinking things like, good morning. Do I say good? I never say good morning. That sounds totally weird, And so you'll just have to figure out what sounds most natural coming out of your mouth. And experiment. Maybe you'll find something better than what we're using. And great, tell us, we will steal it and use it. Lots of bagels. Oh, good to know. Okay, I'll be there tomorrow. So those are just some good ways to start conversations. Other good reasons to register someone to vote. They have moved since last time they voted. They want to change their party. They want to change their name due to, getting married. Or if they're, you know, especially a student on a campus or something, and they say, oh yeah, no, I think I'm registered. Oh, hey, let's make sure. It takes 2 minutes. Most important election of our lifetimes is coming up. You know, are you a citizen? I didn't go into it quickly enough that time. See, like, I left a little seam there, make it seamless. Um, and yeah, yeah. IDing techniques are super important, especially in Michigan, because there is no party preference on the form. So you just don't know. So that's the more you do that, the more you'll know. And you can do it. I try to be extremely respectful to everyone I talk to. That's part of what we're out there to do, is just be, you know, we're out there because showing our values, showing that we're Democrats because we're proud of our values. And one of our values is we respect everyone, whether they disagree with us or not, you know? Um, we're representing the Democratic Party well by being nice people out there. We're also just representing humans well. You know, we're trying to be part of the antidote to the demonization of both sides by the other. Trying to just show like you can talk politics in a pleasant way. So yeah, so ID people. One last thing about that. Sometimes I will throw out some things without IDing in them, just either by accident or maybe 10 people come out of a courthouse at once, and you're like, oh, hey, help me save the world from Trump. Can I register you to vote? And you wind up saying to somebody, oh, can I register you to vote? And he says, yeah, sure, great. And okay, terrific. I haven't identified him yet, you know? So as I sidle up to him with my clipboard, it's great if I have this sticker on and I can just kind of, you know, make that visible. If I don't, though, as I go up to him with my clipboard, I might throw out one last, oh, awesome, that's so good, because it's just, you know, it's just so important that we beat Trump in 2020. Just, you know, throw that one last chance for him to say, oh, what? No, I love Trump. Oh, hey, great. Have a great day, man. Respect. You know? And in reality, I'm waving at him not because I'm dismissing him, but because he's always walking away at that point. You know, they just walk away. And if he says, if this also never happens, but if he says, hey, but I'd still like to register to vote, then we say, oh, okay, here you go, and give him the form, and just say, okay, just fill that out. You know, make sure you sign and date that, and get that to your city elections clerk, and you're good. And that's our legal obligation, giving someone a form. We're not, and it's also just polite, you know. We're not legally obligated to help them fill it out, though, or mail it in. You know, nor should we, because our time is precious. We need to be out here registering Democrats, you know. So once they are interested for whatever reason, whatever of those, you know, good reasons, and we're registering them, I always fill this out myself, and I recommend you do too. When we fill this out, we're going to be faster. It'll be more legible, I swear, and we will hit all the fields we need to hit, whereas they probably will skip some, you know? So I'm going to go over the form itself. I'm going to not use this. I have an image on my screen. That'll be much easier to see. But I just want to show you before we get into that. On each clipboard you get, there will be, you know, some forms, probably about 8 of these. And under those, there will be a cheat sheet. It's I can send you all this too. This is the Michigan brief. And it's just it's an informational security blanket. You know, you probably all know these talking points already, but it's just some points about, and I'll share this so you can actually see it better. Just some talking points about Michigan, the Democratic Party, and the fact that the primary is March 10th, and it's an open primary. And this QR code is what I wanted to show you. There's also the good picture of Trump, but this QR code. When you're done registering someone, what we're going to do is ask people. So terrific. So now you're going to be registered. Can I register you as a Democrat today? It's the best way to stay informed in the fight against Trump and the Republicans. If they say yes, then you can point your phone at this QR code, and it's like magic. If you don't know about QR codes, it's very easy. I can demonstrate right now. So here's my phone. Point the camera at the QR code, and oh, see something pops up in the very top, and that is if you push that, it takes you to a website, and that links right to the sign up page for the Michigan Democratic Party website. And you can enter their information on here, and immediately they'll be registered as a Democrat. So that kind of is our workaround for the fact that the party is not on the form. You know, we still give people a chance to sign up and make it as seamless as possible. And if they say yes, you can just ask them, like, is it okay, great, can I take your information from the form? If they say yes, terrific. They don't have to wait around. They can walk away, and you can just enter their information from the form on that website on your phone. You know, ingenious. Let me see. Some questions in the chat. Will you be getting to action steps soon for where and when voter registration meetups are starting, or are we organizing ourselves? I need to leave call in about 15 minutes. I want to have some action steps to get started. Thanks. Let me hit that right now before we get into the form. So we don't have people on the ground yet. Generally, it takes 1 to 3 of these video calls, and then somebody's like, oh, I'll do it, you know, and all we need is one brave soul. John, you could be the one. But seriously, I have put my my contact info in the chat right now, and I'm available, you know, by text, phone, or email. Don't call me right now. I'm doing a training. That's rude, but you know, I can talk to you later, and no, and set you up wherever you are. You know, send you a list of good hotspots near you to try out, and you know where it's going to be at least solid and possibly wonderful. You know, and we can figure out a day and time, get it on our calendar. We make you the owner of that event so that you see whoever signs up. If you want to run it, like if you want to, you know, put it on the calendar. There's also an attendance cap on our events that you can use if, say, it's just your first one. You don't want it more than 4 people, you know, or 2. You can put that number. Oh, my contact info just went to John Weiss. That was dumb. Thank you. Here we go. Thank you for, man, I do that all the time. I am such a grandpa. Here we go. Okay. No offense to grandpas. Yes. So we can get you set up and get you started doing this. It is not hard. You can absolutely do this. Get in touch with me. Also, before I go into the form, there's 3 buttons right above in the chat, right above where you type your message. There's 3 dots in a row, horizontal dots. If you click on that, it should, so a little menu should drop down, and you can click on Save Chat if you like. Awesome. John Weiss put his information in the chat so we can all, you know, organize ourselves. That's terrific. Thank you so much. I can also send an email to everyone to follow up and have your information in there and, you know, next steps. Terrific. So let's see. Should I get to the form? Yeah, let me do that. Oh, did I missed a question? Warner, I thought that the folks were supposed to fill out their own registration form unless they had a special problem. I believe it's completely fine for us to fill it out. They definitely have to sign it. There's no getting around that. Sign it and date it if you can get them to date it too, terrific. But they definitely have to sign it. But we can help them fill it out. As far as absentee ballots, that Michigan does have some crazy voter registration laws, and we're not allowed to turn in another person's absentee ballot. So we're not even getting into absentee quite yet. Here we go. So this is the Michigan voter registration form in all its glory. That's as seen from 10 feet away. As you get closer, it gets more impressive. Here it is. So there are definitely some quirky things about this. So first thing, are you a citizen? There we go. Okay. Are you a citizen? If the answer is anything other than yes, do not register them. You can derail the naturalization process, which is a nightmare. So yeah, if they're a green card holder or just a resident, can't register them, unfortunately. Below that, will you be at least 18 years of age on or before Election Day? That is, Election Day is November 3rd, 2020, for our purposes. If they'll be 18 by then, check that off, and great. Next question. Michigan driver's license or state ID? They, unfortunately, in Michigan, have to have this in order to register if they're registering for the first time. I'm still waiting for a call back from a county clerk to find out if the last 4 digits of your social security can be fine. I believe they're going to tell me that it can be okay for students because it is federal law that supersedes state law that any student must be able to register where he or she is going to school, even if they live out of state. And for all those students, they're going to have to use their social security, but I'm waiting to hear on that. Let's see, someone put something in the chat. Maybe it answers it. Okay. Oh, great. Lori says they can do either. I've registered lots of people. They can register with just the last 4 of social security. Hey, terrific. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you, Lori. So, you know, so many things about these forms you really learn from people who have done this on the ground. And like, I know from what I've read in conversations with Secretary of State, it's different though, you know, sometimes like, okay, Lori, that's awesome. I trust Lori. So need either one or the other then. Okay, that makes it more like most other states we're in. Do try to get their driver's license. I usually try to get both out of an abundance of caution. If you know they don't have a driver's license or personal ID card, and they can't remember the last 4 of their social, I usually say, especially if it's on a college, is there anyone you know who you could text to get the last 4 of your social? I save them some dignity by not mentioning the word mom, but you know, sometimes they can text their mom and get the last 4, which is great. Do not check this box unless they have not been issued a Michigan driver's license or ID card and they have not been issued a social security number. If that is true, then you can check that and they will have to register them, but that's very rare. And it won't let me uncheck it. There we go. Below that, some easy ones. Last name, first name, middle, any suffix for extra credit. Date of birth is mandatory. Month, day, year, male, female, not mandatory. The address where they live, absolutely need that. That has to be a physical address, not a PO box. If they are experiencing homelessness, you can write down a description of where they live, like cross streets. That can work. I always ask any apartment number because some people forget to volunteer that. And make sure you get their city. State will have to be Michigan. And then make sure you get their zip code. Phone and email are optional, but we treat them like they're mandatory because first of all, the clerk will need that if any information is missing or illegible to reach out to the voter. And second, they also fuel our phone banks and outreach efforts. So definitely need to get those. Phone and email. Most people have no problem giving that to you. And at that point I say, so is that address where you get your mail? If it is, you can skip this. If not, rarely they'll have a mailing address that's different than their physical address. And then that's where you would write that, the next line down, right there. And you write their city, state, and zip for that address right there. After that, just need them to sign and date it. And 3 things, and you're done. Once they've done that, give them a sticker for saving the world, make sure you give them a sticker. People, even hardened killers, love getting a sticker. And it keeps the conversation going, you know. So I registered to vote today. I usually have one on my shirt. It's kind of a subliminal look what you might get by interacting with me. And after that, sign them up. Ask them if they would like to get. Oh, I'm sorry. No, ask them if they would. If I. Could I register you as a member of the Democratic Party? That's a bad way to say it. Sorry, I take it back. I would say, then, so this is great. You'll now be registered to vote. Could I register you as a Democrat? That will, that's really be the best way to stay informed and you know, in the fight against Trump and the Republicans. Something like that. That's the sentence I have on this cheat sheet, you know. And if they say yes, then say, great, can I take your information from this form? Sure, absolutely. And then, hey, great, thank you so much. Remember, March 10th is the presidential primary. We got to get Trump out of here. You know, it's so important. Your vote counts like crazy in Michigan. So please vote for Democrats up and down the ballot. And yeah, remember to vote for Alyssa Slotkin for Congress, if we're in her district, for example. Or, you know, if there's someone else who's it's appropriate to name because we're in their district. Great, you know, name recognition is a huge part of the battle. So, yeah, let's see, did I forget anything? You can also, if someone seems enthusiastic, you can also ask if they would like to get one email a week with great events like this where they can help make a real difference against Trump, you know, in the fight against Trump. And then you can sign them up on our volunteer list. You can take their information from their form and just give their name, email, and phone number. And that means they get one email a week from Field Team 6, our weekly newsletter. And it is basically just a list of voter drives where they can come make a difference. So yeah, that's basically it. You know, I should let you know, just expectation wise, when you go out there, if this is your first time, you know, or if your hot spot turns out to be a cold spot, you know, and you're out there for about 2 hours and you don't register anybody, but you talk to 20 people going by and let them know, you know, the name of the Democratic candidate, if there's an incumbent we're defending, like Alyssa Slotkin, for example, or Gary Stevens. I know Peters. I know. Get the name right. But yeah, the name of the candidate we're defending, and the date of the primary, March 10th. Get those two things out to 20 people who are walking by during those 2 hours, and you've done a great job. If you didn't register anyone, okay, you did a canvassing shift. That's what that is. You know, we go to a high traffic area and let the canvas come to us. So we reap the benefits of both canvassing and voter registration. And that is absolutely true. I'm not saying that to make you feel good. We've seen awareness going up on a college campus as we went there week after week. And by the end, you know, we'd say, so, hey, you know, the primary's coming up. And they'd be like, oh, June 5th, I know. Like, people really picked it up when you put that information in the air. So if you register 1 or 2 people in your shift, that's what most state parties ask of their paid people. So that's good. You know, 3 or 4 is super solid, and 5 or more, you're a monster, you know? So it's good to have that context. Most people don't get that context in any training. So they come back after a shift and they're like, oh, I only got 5. I feel like a jerk, you know, like that's great. 5 is great. These are like soccer or hockey scores we're looking for, you know, not basketball. But they do add up. They add up to thousands, you know? So remember, everyone you registers is not just a vote, it's a voter who may be voting up and down the ballot for the rest of their lives, affecting hundreds of elections. Also remember, we're sifting through people, you know, the people we can't empower to find the ones we can. So in general, whatever you do, whatever you say, the first 2 to 20 people will ignore you, but there's always going to be a 21st person, and you're going to say, "Excuse me, miss, can you help me save the world from Trump?" And she'll spin on her heel and say, "Oh my God, give me that. I don't care what it is. I need to sign that right now. Thank God you're here. I'm going nuts. Do you see these impeachment hearings? You know, Devin Nunes, like," and then you'll have a conversation and make a connection, and hopefully register her on the spot, and maybe register her as a Democrat right after that if you can. But even if you don't, she'll walk away knowing that March 10th is the presidential primary, and that she needs to vote for Gary Peters and get Trump out. And more importantly, she'll know that it's okay to say the word Democrat in public. It's okay to be a Democrat. It's okay to not be racist or sexist. It's okay to believe in science, all those things. Any questions about anything? All right, let me see. There's something in the chat. Warner says, on the absentee issue, with other groups, we stay away from the absentee request, but submit a form to request permanent absentee ballots. Yep. Okay. I need to talk to Lori and people who do this a lot and ask about the absentee ballots, because according to the letter of the law, unless you're related to the person, you can't submit the permanent absentee ballot request, which seems totally ridiculous. I mean, did cross my mind also, if you fill it out for them and just mail it in, how is that any different than them mailing it in? But I need to talk to some people who have actually done this, and so they can tell me what's up, because 0 days in jail is my goal. It's a high bar, but so far so good. Lori says, I believe that is correct. Yes. Okay, that's too bad. Blech. Thanks, Michigan. You could provide them with a stamp to mail it in. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Better than nothing. I mean, we give Republicans their forms to defeat them, like that's because we assume those forms are going to live right under that car seat, for the life of the car. But yeah, I guess we could do that. All right. Well, this is great. Yeah. So now all there's left to do is for someone to start doing it. I know it's cold up there. It's great to have people on the ground, in places that have real winters, like Michigan, because when there's a random day where it's like 42, you can go out and register a whole bunch of voters on your lunch hour, and it doesn't involve a punishing drive where you don't know if the weather's going to be okay or not. Okay. You can turn in an application to get on the permanent absentee voter list for someone else. Okay, I need to, that's great to know. Awesome. Lori, you are a wealth of helpful knowledge. Thank you. Ashley says, what kind of commitment are you looking for from people who want to get involved? There is no minimum requirement. This, like life in general, is all optional. It's just whatever you have time for. I mean, what we say just as a guideline is, if someone can commit to going once a month for 2 hours, or whatever for an hour, but just once a month going to say a college campus and talking to kids, with some forms on a clipboard, that's great, and that means we have one chapter once someone says they'll do that, and one chapter is infinitely more than 0, because then people see that it can be done and that it's fun and effective, and then they want to do it themselves, and that's how we start building. So So yeah, and you know, I am not at all good at the hard sell. You know, there's no hard sell. You can think about it if you don't want to decide right now. But yes, you have my contact information, and I can absolutely help set you up and figure out what you know what hotspots will be best closest to you. Um, oh, Lori says my issue is that I'm a rule follower. I think the college campus would kick me out if I'm on college property. I would go to a community college campus if I can stand on the public sidewalk. You could do that. You can try that. You know, so depending on the configuration of the actual you know specific college, that might be a totally fine place. Um, I should tell you though that we have you know um, uh, very few problems, not zero, but probably 1% of the time does anyone say anything to us if we're just walking around outside. We don't go indoors, you know, we wander around. We follow the foot traffic on these community college campuses, just stay outdoors um, and talk to people. And yeah, if you know, maybe one out of seriously 1 out of 100 times, someone on the campus will say something to us, and most likely it's, "Hey, do you have permission to do that?" "Oh, no, I'm sorry, I didn't know I needed any." "Oh, you have to go in that building and sign something for about 4 minutes, and then come out and keep doing exactly what you're doing." "Oh, okay, that's fine." You know, that's usually if anything happens, that's what we do. Ooh, and you have a community college close to you. That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm so jealous. I live in California. We got no swing, nothing. You know, we got to defend our house seats. But in a place like Michigan, you can just go out the door and anybody you see, you know, you could register and they're going to be worked, you know, they're worth their weight in gold. I've been kicked out of the best places. Oh, you know, on that front's a public sidewalk. Oh, great. Hey, perfect. That's a perfect location for you. But I would be very surprised if anyone tried to kick you out, you know? Um, Worst case scenario, they say, hey, you can't do that here. And you say, oh, okay, have a good day. And you walk away. You know, it's usually not dramatic at all. That almost, like I said, almost never happens on college campuses. It does happen fairly regularly in, you know, the one place we go, the one hot spot we go regularly that is private property is, you know, the parking lots of like Walmart supercenters, which are great places. We register a lot of Democrats there. You know, sometimes we're there for the entire 2 hour shift and nobody says anything. Everyone's fine. And sometimes in the first few minutes, you know, a bashful teenager comes over and says, sorry, you can't be here. And then we leave. Um, yeah. Also, one good thing to keep in mind is we're offering people a huge public service. You know, we're not hassling them. We're doing our best to be super charming and pleasant, you know, and really it's like walking up to someone with a hot slice of pizza to give to them for free, you know. Like it's except it's more it's the pizza of democracy, you know. We're turning their voices into votes, and we're doing it in such a convenient way, you know. They don't even have to make an appointment, just walking up to them and giving them a gift, basically. It does. It saves them a ton of time. And we're also going to fill out the form correctly because we've gone over it once, and that makes a big difference, you know? Um, yeah. So it's a great thing to do. All right. I actually have to go get ready for another call in a few minutes. But are there any more questions before we go? Oh, absolutely. Thank you all so much for being here. Totally appreciate all of you and in all different parts of Michigan and other states. Wonderful. You totally fuel me and inspire me to keep doing this, you know?
Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, cool. We have these, I keep a steady schedule of these calls once every 3 weeks or so, you know, and like I said, if you want one specifically for your group or, you know, just for you and a friend or whatever, you know, we can throw in another one on the schedule. We're here to help, you know, and I can't wait to put our first Michigan event on our calendar, you know, get it on the map. Yeah. So if you know, also, if you know any other activists, anyone who might be interested in registering voters in Michigan, let me know. Email me, you know, put us on an email together. That's super helpful. All right. All right. Well, thank you everybody so much. I hope I see you soon. And happy impeachment, everybody. Happy Roger Stone being convicted. You know, we can savor that a few days. All right. Good night, everybody. See you soon, I hope. Yeah. Text, email me, call me for any reason. All right. See you all later. Bye.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.